Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Crochet After Dark. Happy to have you here. If you are new, I'd love for you to consider subscribing, or if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'd love for you to do so. I have a goal of hitting 75 subscribers by the end of the year. I have 60 right now. Doesn't take much. Would love to have more people hanging out here, talking, visiting, just having a good time with crochet, cats, dogs, and anything else that occurs to me along the way. Most of the time, I'm talking about my day, or telling you stories about my animals, or just talking about something that passes through my crazy head. I'm very bad about going down the proverbial rabbit trail. So sometimes I have to ask your forgiveness for that. Tonight, I'm crocheting on a coaster that goes with a placemat and coaster set. I've already done the placemat. If I can get to it, I can't get to it without upsetting the apple cart. Yeah, there's no way. I have too much stuff between it and me. I'd have to pause you and go and walk around the room and try to retrieve it. But I have a placemat. This is not finished. There's another 2 or 3 rows on this. Maybe 2. Another round and then a scalloped edge. I realize this is almost the same color as my sweatshirt. I have on my Buc-ee's hoodie because I'm cold. And yes, I'm from Texas. I'm allowed to wear a Buc-ee's hoodie just about any old time of the year, along with my Buc-ee's t-shirts. And that reminds me, I have a Buc-ee's t-shirt I like to sleep in. I don't know where it's at. I haven't seen it in the drawer lately. It's incredibly soft fabric. I'll be making a stop at Buc-ee's tomorrow because I have to have a trip to Houston to go and see my spine surgeon. It's interesting that he's a spine surgeon and we have no surgery on the books, have had no surgery, and he's doing everything he can to prevent surgery, which makes him a good doc in my books. But I'll probably make a little trip into Buc-ee's. You know, it'd be really cool is if Buc-ee's had a yarn area. Buc-ee's has everything else. Why wouldn't they have yarn? I mean, you can buy yarn at the Dollar Tree. Why can't you buy yarn at Buc-ee's? I don't know. I might have to think on that. Maybe somebody needs to pitch that idea to Buc-ee's. I'm being silly, by the way. I have spent today not crocheting. I was going to try to crochet during the daylight, show y'all that I can pick up a hook when the sun is still up. But I've been grading today. Most of y'all know that I'm a college professor of English. I'm retired. I work part-time and I teach dual credit at a local high school. I'm employed by the college and I go to the high school to teach the kids there. And the end of our semester is upon us. And so I spent today catching up on grading papers that had come in. Yes, they had come in late. I don't know how we're going to train kids not to do stuff late. That's a whole subject for somebody else's video and their channel. I don't want to go into that because that's something else. But I got into that and I had thought that I would grade a little bit, take breaks and crochet a little bit. And I just decided I was going to hammer out some of the work that I had to do. So that's what I did. And I was also answering some email from the kids and various and sundry other things associated with work. So I really didn't do any crocheting. I did a little bit, but not a whole lot. Nothing that I didn't even think about turning on the video recording. So I didn't have anything from the daytime. But I did crochet a little bit during the daylight hours today. So I decided to pick this up tonight. had, some of y'all know that I had crocheted already 2 placemats and 2 of the coasters. I'd hoped to have a set finished by Thanksgiving. They're in different colors. It was a real pretty sort of teal green and a bronzy color. This sort of plummy, soft plummy color. And then the last one, I'm going to do it, I think, in a color called hay bale. It's just sort of a tan color. But I have 2 other skeins of, this is Lion Brand 24/7. I have 2 more skeins in sort of autumny colors, and I may just go ahead and make it a set of 6. These are for my sister, but I think they turn out really pretty. These are a Toni Lipsy pattern. These, I think, came from her, what does she call it? Crochet Academy that she does in the summertime. Here it is Christmas, and I'm working on something from the summertime. But I think they're real pretty and very simple. They're simple to crochet. They're simple until you put the border on them. And then when you put the border on, it just looks really, really pretty, I think. Takes them up from simple to sort of, I would call them like, they have sort of a rustic elegance about them. And, you know, in our family, we are more rustic than we are elegant. So that works out really nicely. I don't know about y'all, but I really like, I like Toni Lipsy. I like to watch her videos. I loved watching her Yarn Snob reviews, and she still sometimes does Yarn Snob reviews. So those are always fun. And I enjoy watching her destash her yarn. I'm not young enough anymore to put a sheet out on the floor and spread my yarn out and start categorizing it. And she uses an Excel spreadsheet. As you might guess, being an English teacher, me and Excel, we're not real friendly. I once knew how to set up a grade book in Excel, but now that grade books are an automatic part of a course platform, course, I can't think of the name for it. It's a software platform. We use Blackboard at the school I'm at. The grade book is in there. I just put the grades in. I tell it how I want it to figure at the end of the semester, and it does it from there. But, you know, after last night when I was really feeling restless and I couldn't get settled on any project at all, I've been thinking about, you know, what do I want to do? What do I want to work on? I do have a shawl that I started. I am maybe 4 rows into it. I really need to pull it out and work on it. It will be really pretty, I think. I do occasionally get to go to the theater, like I got to go last week. Yeah, I think that was a week ago today. We went and saw, went to the theater. And it's oftentimes, it's nice. It gets a little chilly in the theater. So it's nice to have something just to wrap around your shoulders. So that was my idea with the shawl that I've started. I don't know where it is at, or I would show you the start and I would show you what it looks like. It's in a project bag somewhere in my house, probably somewhere in my bedroom. And that's even more frightening that I can't locate it in there. But I also I've been looking at this because this has been hanging out on, I have a vanity table in my bedroom. And I've been looking at these yarns here. I hope they're not going to get too much glare on them. I really don't want to take them out of here because they're put away so nicely. But what you can see is that this is sort of a gradient pack. The colors are showing up horribly through that plastic. This light color that looks yellow, this is actually orange. Yeah, the closer I get to the camera, the more yellow it looks. Let me move that light. No, that doesn't help. It must be my overhead lighting. It's showing it as yellow. But there's a yellow, a light pink, a hot pink, 2 shades of hot pink that are very close to each other. One of them is verging into magenta, purplish land, then a purple, and then a magenta. And I've been thinking, and in looking at this again, I think that what I want to do with this, that looks a little bit more orange. Like when I move it back here, it looks a little bit more like what it really is. I think what I want to do is I want to start with this color and then go to this pink. That's the third color. And then use the second color, fourth, fifth, and sixth. There's my little Coco. I'll tell you about Coco's horrible day. She's had, what is it? A horrible, terrible, messed up day. But I want to make a shawl with these. This is a bamboo yarn. There are 200 yards of each color, so there's 1,200 yards. My initial thought was to make a really huge virus shawl out of it. And that may still be what I do, because I think this too would be really pretty to wear to the theater. It wouldn't be warm at all. I don't know, it might be. It is 4-ply, but it is a fingering weight yarn, so it's not going to be very, very warm. This yarn came from a company called Theodora's Pearls. I don't know if they're still in business, but they're in Longmont, Colorado. If they are, I picked this up at the Houston Fiber Fest. Sheesh. Maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think. I picked it up. There was another color that went with it. I have no idea where I have put it. But there was this beautiful shawl in the setup that Theodora's Pearls. Well, I don't even think it was Theodora's Pearls. I think the company that had that, it was a different company. I don't know who the shop was or anything like that. But the person who was there manning the shop, she assured me that a beginner knitter would have no trouble with this pattern. And I don't know if this is true for all beginning knitters, but it's certainly true for me. I can't read knitting the way I read crochet. You know, like when I pick this up, I can read it and go, oh, that's a double crochet. Oh, and there are 2 of them in 1 stitch, and then there's 1, and then there's 2 in 1 stitch. I mean, I can go back and I can look at my crochet and I can read it. And if I don't have the correct number of stitches, I can start going back and trying to figure out, where did I go wrong? Where did I put in 1 too many, or where did I not put in enough? And it's easy to for me, it's always been easy to read crochet. And crochet is very forgiving when you have to frog it. Or I find that it is. Well, most yarns, some yarns are not easy and not forgiving. But I can't read my knitting. And if I make a mistake, I've never been successful at tinking back to where the mistake was and then correcting it and moving on forward. I haven't mastered that skill yet. And even if y'all have heard me mention my friend Tara, if I'm with her and we're, we will have crafty days where we just sit and we crochet or we knit, or sometimes we spin, we eat a lot of junk food, we laugh, we have a good time. It's just a great day. But if I make a mistake in knitting, she can take my knitting and she can tink back to where the mistake is. But even at that point, when the knitting is returned to me, I have trouble figuring out now how to get back into the groove of it. So when I knit, I do things that are, incredibly simple. So if I mess up, I can just rip the whole thing out. I can start over and I don't feel too bad about it. But, when you've been doing, if you're doing, lace when you're knitting, for instance, that's very frustrating to have to try to tink and fix it. And I just am not any good at it. So anyway, the person at this shop, she assured me that even a beginning knitter could do this, because at that time I had done a couple of projects that were still beginner level, but they involved more than just, straight knitting or a knit pearl kind of situation. I was all excited. Yes, this is so beautiful. This picture of this shawl. I paid for the pattern. I paid for the yarn. The pattern was a download. So when Tara and I got in the car and we're headed home, I pull up this download and I start reading it. And I start reading it out loud to her. And I said, does this sound like a beginner's pattern to you? And because she had knitted, she knits quite well. She does, you give her a type of handwork, this child can do it well. I say child, she's young. It's a long story, but she's young enough to be my child. Maybe someday she'll do a video with me and we'll tell you the story of why we joke and say that I'm her work mother. But as I'm reading it to her, she said, I'm not sure I could do that pattern. And, you know, this is the young lady who is young lady. She was in her 30s. Well, she was in her 40s by then. It was just a few years ago. She's been, you know, like her third or fourth knitting project. She decided she was going to jump out there, do a lace project and add beads to it. And I'm still kind of freaked out about adding beads to anything. But she was going to do it, and she did it. And I know she fussed and cussed some, but she managed to do it. So anyway, I have this beautiful yarn that I don't want to have just sit around. So if you have any ideas about something like a shawl that I could do with this 1,200 yards, hit me up and let me know. I'd love to have something pretty to come out of that. And it should be crochet, because honestly, I'm a much better crocheter than I am a knitter. And I think I always will be a better crocheter than I am a knitter, because still just haven't learned to read that knitting work. Now I'm going to pause for just a second because I got to count some stitches here. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27. Hot dog. 36. It's exactly what I'm supposed to have. I love it when the pattern comes out right. It's not the pattern, it's the crocheter when I come out right. I want to take this chance right now to shout out a couple of people that have really been giving me some love and attention, and some good advice about things, and answering my silly questions sometimes, and talking about my beautiful Coco. But I want to shout out She Sails Away. That is hard to say, by the way. My little southeastern Texas tongue can make something awful out of that. She's been really popping up in my comments and answering questions and giving feedback, and I really love it. I adore it. It's just what I came here to YouTube to find, was sort of a crochet community, group of people that want to talk about their crochet and want to talk about, maybe talk about their pets, talk about a good day they had or a bad day. But She Sails Away is been popping off really well for me. I really enjoy that. And also Miss Elizabeth Crochet. Really enjoy her videos and enjoy the comments that she leaves for me as well. So go check out both of those, and join their subscription as well, or just be a subscriber on their channels. That's something that we all need here on YouTube. We need people to help support us. I don't have any kind of a joke with. I'll tell y'all this story. It's a silly story. Last year, especially after I knew I wasn't going to come back, but you know, teachers have to be very careful about things they do and everything. And my kids would always. Last year we had it was very difficult keeping the phones put away in the classroom. I mean, you had to either be just constantly harping on the kids, put your phone away, put your phone away, put your phone away, over and over and over. Or you just had to say, you got to put it away while I'm giving instruction. And then you hoped for the best after that. Well, I had some kids who would always be trying to film a TikTok and get me in it. I'm like, I don't want to be in your TikToks. I'm not supposed to be in, doing TikTok, blah, 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 blah. But eventually they wore me down. One young lady in particular, one day she says to me in about, I think it was probably about April of last school year, she said, I'm coming to your room during lunch and we're going to film I Have Lunch With Me TikTok. And I was so worn down at that point. I was like, fine, I'll do your blooming TikTok and that'll be it. Well, she created me my own TikTok channel and I started calling her my TikTok manager because she would come and film my Have Lunch With Me. I'd do book reviews, or when they were getting ready to take their state tests, I would try to, offer a few tips about, things that could help them as they got ready. Kids have a lot of test anxiety over these things. Actually, I wouldn't say they have a lot of test anxiety. They have a lot of test fatigue. And so I was trying to, a lot rides on these stupid tests. I guess you can tell what my attitude about these stupid tests is. And, so the kids needed some words of encouragement. So I kept joking that I wanted a viral TikTok video, that it was going to be my retirement gig. And so then I had been watching YouTube and I thought, I don't think YouTube could be the retirement gig, but if TikTok is kind of fun, then I think that doing YouTube could be kind of fun. So that's how I ended up here on YouTube, was just thinking that it could be probably more fun than TikTok, because I really think TikTok is a platform for the kids, not so much for people my age. Although I still have kids up at the high school who are like, hey, I watch your videos. When are you going to post a new one? And sometimes I'll sit in the car before school and I will, or before my classes start, it's not before the school day, and I'll make a new video. Now, the kids are not supposed to have their phones out at all during the school day. So hopefully they don't watch them until after the school day is over. That's a joke too, but I have to go through the room and threaten mine with taking up phones still. So it's those cell phones, man, they are the bane of all existence. All right, I'm going to close with Coco's terrible, horrible, no good sort of day. This morning, Coco's been having some pretty good days. Coco is not ill, nothing like that. But Coco lets the younger cats get to her. She's sort of like that kid in the neighborhood that everybody else can pick on. And the other kid, the Coco kid, screams and yells and cries while the other kids are just mercilessly teasing them. Well, my younger cats, I have 3 that are the same age. They're litter mates. There's Can, and then Mr. Jackson, he's got a glare on his head, and Maisie. They are litter mates. Long story about how they came to live with me. But they gang up on Coco, and they ganged up on her this morning, and they, the ruckus, the absolute ruckus that went on in this house. And Coco went and hid behind the entertainment center. She can go behind it, and then she can get inside the, it has it has an empty back, and she can get in there and hide from them. So she has been in the entertainment center all day. She's just come out, had her dinner, and she's now, she's very stressed. She's losing hair. It's just blowing out of her like crazy. But she had a horrible, terrible, no good sort of day. And now she's getting some loving, so things will be better. Giving me cat hair in my face. My sweet girl, though. My sweet girl. I've had her longer than I've had anybody else. Coco is about 15 years old, and knock wood, healthy, healthy, healthy. Has never really been sick at all in her life, for which we have to be thankful. She hates going to the vet, so it's a good thing. She's the cat that they say, really, if she stays in the house and never goes anywhere, you can probably go a couple of years without bringing her in because she's not nice. But she's lovely, but she's not nice. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening to me rattle. Thanks for watching me love on my kitty. Please subscribe. Get me to 75 by the end of the month. Like this video. Comment on this video. Let's keep talking. I love talking to y'all in the comments. So let me know what you're working on. Let me know what your, maybe tell me what your most favorite project is that you've ever crocheted in your life, or what is the most favorite project that you've crocheted for a Christmas gift this year. I haven't really crocheted any Christmas gifts this year. I am thinking about making my little niece one of those chapstick holders that she can attach to her purse or carry inside her purse. And I think I'm going to also, I'm going to make I'm giving her at least one gift card to go. I'm giving her a new purse for Christmas. She doesn't listen to YouTube, so I can say that. So she's getting a new purse. Her purse looks grungy. And I'm going to crochet. I'm going to give her a couple of gift cards because that's all she wants is just gift cards for Christmas. So I'm going to crochet the little envelopes that the gift cards can go in. And I want to crochet the chapstick holder. And I might be able to pull off one for her AirPods. She doesn't have Apple AirPods. She has another kind of AirPods. So I need to get her to let me handle the case and take a look at it so that I know what I'm looking at when I'm either looking for a pattern or trying to figure out how I want to put one together. So anyway, now I really am going to go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see y'all tomorrow for, this is day 15 of Vlogmas. I'll see y'all for day 16 of Vlogmas tomorrow. And I'll have an update from my spine surgeon, which will probably amount to nothing. Or as we say here in the part of the country I'm from, it's a hill of beans. That's about what it's going to amount to. So anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. You girls do not fight.